Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Legendary Sports Podcast. What's happening,
What's
everyone?
going on, my people?
You know who it
What's
is?
going?
Scary Michelson's Antoine Beeks. We're out here having a good time. Gonna talk some week 9 recap, talk about how we're doing. I'm not doing so good.
Man, neither am I, man.
Actually, what's funny is I say that because the league I'm going to lose in, I'm actually gonna go 4-1 most likely. But the league I'm going to lose in is the big money league, and that one just makes me feel like everything is a lost cause.
Well, here I was sitting at 5-2, 5-1, and then I've dropped my last three, man. It's just not been good. I try
Oh
to,
yeah. See, and that's what I need. I needed to win 3. I need to get back into it. If I take this loss, now it slows down that pace for me to be able to get back into the playoff hunt. I need to make it to the 6th place team. That's all I need to get to. So
man. Dude, I'm just stuck, bro. Like we literally, Geno Smith stunk it up. Devontae Adams stunk it up. Kenneth Walker left with an injury early in the game.
rough living.
Adam Adam Thielen came back to reality. Like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm gonna score probably like a season low of
Oh
like
really?
50 something points. I have 47 points right now.
Baby. Even as bad as my team has been, I've always been at 80. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm projected to get 55 points for the rest of the time being. Um, and even with like this dude, man, like I don't know, man. It stunk it up, man. Just stunk it
Yep.
up.
It
But
goes down like that sometimes. It really does. But that's just the way life lives. So let's figure out why we're thinking of that. What's going down here? Let's go into some of the games and figure out, in this Tennessee game, well, we kind of recapped that, right? Now we're gonna skip over to the Miami Kansas City.
man, this game was a letdown for me, man. I thought that it would be a lot more fireworks. I thought that it'd be a lot more fantasy points on the floor.
Same.
Um, but
That
I wish I
offense for the Chiefs looks so inept. Like they're getting wins, but it is just kind of hard to watch them.
um and same with the Miami Dolphins. It's like every time they play somebody big, the offense just go away. I mean, Tua 21 for 34, 193 yards and one touchdown. I thought he was at least gonna throw for 225,
Yeah.
two touchdowns. Mostert kind of carried them back into the game late, and I
Yes.
played Mostert today. He was really didn't do much in the first half, but then he started to turn it on, man, with 12 for
Yep.
85, and he ran for a touchdown. Um, Tyreek Hill, he was held in check pretty much for the most part, 8 catches for 62 yards. Um, and then Jalen Waddle, 3 for 42. Jeff Wilson, 3 for 32. And then Cedric Wilson had a big catch for 31 yards that led to a touchdown. But on the other side of the ball, man, Patrick Mahomes, 20 for 30 with 185 yards, two touchdowns. That's just not what you expect to see from Patrick Mahomes, especially in such a big game. Um, Isaiah Pacheco,
Uh,
16 carries for 66 yards. And then there's just no fantasy points on this. There's none on this Kansas City side of the
no.
ball. Like none at all. Like I don't even need to shout these guys out. Noah Gray was the leading receiver with 34 yards, the backup tight end.
Ooh.
And Travis Kelce had 3 catches for 14 yards. I mean,
I don't know what's going on. They gotta get it figured out. They look worse than some of the other teams that we're gonna talk about here.
yeah, it was bad for sure.
You,
So
you know who
nothing.
wasn't bad? Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say nothing on the Kansas City side of the ball, but who wasn't bad?
Josh Dobbs wasn't bad with the comeback win.
Okay.
Yeah, Josh Dobbs,
Uh,
the Falcons and the Vikings, right? He went 20 for 30, 158, 2 touchdowns with a touchdown on the ground and 66 yards. This man balled out. Now they started the Hall kid or whatever ahead of this, but he got hurt, Jaron Hall or whatever. So Josh Dobbs came in and filled in admirably, got the comeback win, and shoot, got a few people. I mean, a couple people involved. Addison 5 for 52, Hawkinson 7 for 69, and guess who came alive a little bit? Alexander Madison, man. What the heck?
Yeah,
I
he
mean, he
did.
had
He came alive a little bit.
almost 50 yards receiving with a touchdown, and then he also had 44 more yards on the ground. Hey, that's points you've never seen before.
Yeah, Josh Dobbs was just going to whoever he could find, man. He
Yep.
was going to hit whoever he could find.
Anybody and anything. Um, Nothing changed from the side of Falcons. They're still very inept no matter what. The whole Bijan Robinson situation is very disheartening with where he was drafted and everything like that. So he's succeeding attempts to Tyler Algier, which sucks. And Algier got the touchdown. Bijan also fumbled today, so that was a discouraging thing. And the only person you can clearly trust in his offense for some reason is Jonnu Smith, the resurgence of his career. I don't know where that's coming in, but see that 2-for-1 trade. I'm not upset about now trading away Christian Watson and Kyle Pitts. Thank goodness. I thought Heineke might make a difference, and he did, but just for Jonnu Smith.
Jonnu Smith was balling.
Crazy.
So
crazy.
Man, with that being said, I tell you what, man, the Arizona Cardinals need to find something. And by something, I mean the whole entire draft.
Yeah, man, they need work.
It was really bad watching this game today.
This is the reason this game is the reason I'm going to lose in the standard league, because the defense that person had 30 points. 30 points just from his defense, because they had the Browns defense that had like, what was it, like 7 or 8 sacks? Crazy.
They had two interceptions.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had 2 interceptions for sure. And then they had a combined total of 7 sacks.
There it is. Crazy. In our league, we had 2 points a sack. That's 14 points just in sacks.
Yeah, so
crazy.
So they did what they did. They did what they do. And with that being said, there was nothing on the offensive side of the ball. There was no fantasy points. If you started anybody from the Arizona Cardinals, good luck. They probably got you about 2 points.
Yeah, Clayton Tune is not an NFL quarterback.
Let's just leave it there.
Yep.
But on the other side of the ball, Deshaun Watson came back and he looked very serviceable after being out some time. I'm sure the dog pound was really excited to see that from Deshaun Watson. He was 19 of 30, 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Jerome Ford, man, I would have loved to see him be more effective.
Yeah.
And that's where that is. He got him and Kareem Hunt got a very good load today. 20 carries for Jerome Ford, 44 yards. Kareem Hunt, 14 carries with 38 yards. Neither one of them did very well at all. And I just seen this last play for the Dallas Cowboys. They almost got in. They just lost 28-23. But
man.
Amari Cooper had himself a day, 5 catches, 139 yards. Jerome Ford was the second leading receiver on the team with 5 catches and 33 yards. So nobody. Amari Cooper had a touchdown, and David Njoku had a touchdown as well. So those PPR leagues, those points is great for the touchdown, but not much going there in this game. It was kind of a blowout. Cleveland Browns had a short field a couple of times with the interceptions, and it just was a blowout, man. 27-0, a lot of points from Amari Cooper, decent points from Jerome Ford, and nothing else from no one else.
Yeah. Watson was at least startable this week, so that was good if you needed somebody. Speaking of a lot of points, there's not a lot of points for the Los Angeles Rams. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know who they are. And it's just crazy to see the drop off between Stafford and another quarterback because without Stafford, this offense is inept. This is bad. 20-0 they lost. Brett Rippon or whatever was who we thought he was. Not NFL starting ready. Nothing to really talk about from the receiving side. All the people that you would hope would at least get some love did nothing. There's no fancy points for the Rams. There's a little bit of love on the Packers side of the ball if you started Musgraves as a desperate tight end, excuse me, for the bye weeks, and he had a touchdown in 60 or 51 yards. So, but otherwise, and then Aaron Jones went for 73 yards and a touchdown, which you at least got something out of him. So you weren't mad about that. And he had 26 yards in the air on 4 receptions for Aaron Jones. But yeah, there's not a lot of fancy love here. You got some work from a couple of skill positions for the Packers, but for the most part, unless it's Aaron Jones, I'm really not starting anybody. This Musgraves thing, I don't believe in it. So I don't believe in it long term. I think the bye week is the only time you needed this.
Yeah, man, there wasn't a lot going on anywhere. Speaking of Matthew Stafford and how he just looked different. I tell you one thing, Geno Smith better start writing people back because this was absolutely an embarrassment on Geno Smith's behalf today. 157 yards. I mean, it didn't equate to much yet. I'm sure you did. It was against your Baltimore
Ravens versus your Seahawks, man.
Kenneth Walker got hurt early in the game. He left. No fantasy points there. I had to start Geno, and that's the reason why I lost. He gave me 3 points. For
waiver wire talks. That's gonna be big for the Kenneth Walker.
Yeah. We didn't run the ball well, though. They didn't run the ball well. DK Metcalf, 1 catch for 50 yards. Jackson Smith-Njigba, 6 for 63. He had a decent day. But it seems like they was really keyed in on stopping DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. But the defense just was really, really good. The defense was really good. I mean, this Ravens defense was great. And here's why I'm not a big fan of Lamar Jackson. In big wins like this, he still doesn't do very much for me. 21 of 26, efficient. I get it. 187 yards though. I mean, the dude ran.
But they keep running the ball. They get to such good field position. They don't have to throw. They can just punch it in.
Man, he's terrible. He's like, as a quarterback throwing the ball, and this is why the Ravens don't win big games to me. However, on the flip side of it, right? 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I mean, he gave you more fantasy points for running the ball, 10 carries for 60 yards. So Lamar Jackson had himself a day today.
Well,
but
kind of.
I don't know who this Keontae Mitchell guy is, but this dude carried the ball.
Yeah, the rookie running back. Yeah, so
131 yards, 38 yards.
Yeah, because they got up so far, they let the second string kind of take over. Basically, in the end of the third quarter, going into the fourth, the whole fourth quarter, the starters sat and they were able to do work. So that's the guy that they said that if Gus goes down, that could be the next one up. So.
And speaking of Gus, man, 5 carries for 52 yards and 2 TDs.
Another 2.
This dude is on a hot streak, man.
Yeah.
He is on a hot streak. Shout out to me for dropping him off my team. I dropped him, and then somebody else picked him up, man. So I don't know. Welcome sight for Odell Beckham, 5 for 56 and a TD. He finally got himself back into the end zone.
Funny because he got that TD in garbage time with Tyler Huntley out there.
And then Mark Andrews had 9 for 80. So they were spreading the ball around a little bit. I mean,
hey, he got your nice Andrews involved, so be happy there. He got you 17 PPR points.
Yeah, but he can't carry the team, and he's the only one that showed up for me. So
fair. You know who
This
didn't show
defense was
up?
this defense was insane, man. This defense was insane.
It was. It was locked. It's been locked in. It's kind of crazy. Usually, I mean, they do struggle with the run still a little bit, but might not show that. But for the most part, they've improved all around. So, you know who else has improved all around? Derek Carr. Another multi-touchdown game, baby.
With no passes to Mike Thomas, man. With Mike Thomas with
Crazy.
0 catches. But go for it.
Yeah, 24-17, Saints over the Bears. Derek Carr, 25 of 34, 211 and two tutties, no interceptions, another multi-touchdown game. Getting the people involved. Olave got a little bit of love, finally back in it. 6 for 46 and a touchdown. Kamara got 4 for 44 in the air, along to go with only 26 on the ground. So you got a little bit of love from the passing, but this was a weird day where Taysom Hill, for some reason, did everything. 52 yards on the ground, and then a touchdown in the air. Like, I don't, and threw one. So obnoxious. Very obnoxious. I hate when I hate the Taysom Hill days for fantasy.
Yeah.
Taysom Hill, you're fine as a player in person, but for fantasy, you didn't know any man. And I played against him, so that doesn't help me.
Is that why he annoys you today?
Yeah, but I should still win, but it is part of the reason, yes. And then for some reason, Bagant, I don't know if that's in that right. Tyson Bagant, the backup, actually, I don't want to say played decent, but he got people involved and got some touchdowns out there. To Nicole Komet, he got Darnell Mooney involved. He's actually able to move the ball a little bit. So, that was kind of interesting to see. But you're not starting him. You're not really trying to start anybody from the Bears. Unless you're
Yeah.
real desperate, man. I mean, you can start Komet maybe. But I'm not trusting the Darnell Mooney thing. And DJ Moore was nobody today. So, and Foreman, I don't know who to trust in the running game, but Foreman looks like to be the guy again. He had 20 attempts for 80 yards. So, I mean, maybe he's the guy, but there's no consistency on this side. I can trust that at some point that Olave should be involved and that Michael Thomas will hopefully get a little more engaged. But from Carr on that side, but not from the Bear side.
Well, man, I tell you what, thank you for leaving the highlight of the day up to me, man, because this one was up there. And the crazy thing of it being up there, I'm sure no one probably saw this coming, and or they did not start any player from this team unless it was a two QB league. Because the offense have kind of been, it's been there, but not there like you would have wanted to be with the Houston Texans 39-37 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There was a lot of fantasy points to go around here, starting with CJ Stroud for 470 yards and 5 touchdowns. The dude is growing up right before our eyes. And I
Crazy.
would be surprised if he's not someone's starting quarterback even now and or for the next years to come in fantasy. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he's the new um, Pat Mahomes and Joe Burrow type deal, getting
Yeah.
drafted in like the second and third round by people who just love to, don't watch the sport much and don't know much about all of the ins and out of fantasy, but they just know the name CJ Stroud because 470, woo, and 5 TDs,
Crazy.
crazy. He
Rookie
lit it
record.
up,
Yep.
rookie record. And with that being said, he lit it up with a whole bunch of people. Noah Brown, and the crazy thing is, I seen Noah Brown in the waivers, and I was just like,
Meh.
how would I pick up Noah Brown? And then he
Exactly.
goes out and grabs 6 for 153 and a touchdown.
Yep.
Right? I seen Dalton Schultz in the waiver, and I'm just
I
like,
picked him up.
Dalton Schultz.
I started him in one league. Yeah. He's one of the
I'm like,
only
why would
reasons
I
I was
do?
even competitive.
I was like, why would I do that? 10 for 130 in the TD, right? Tank Dell has kind of been losing the swag to Nico Collins. Has been kind of more of the Nico Collins more than anything, but Stroud's been sharing it around. 6 for 114 and 2 TDs for Tank
I
Dell
did not
today.
start him, and I have him in that same league.
That's what I'm saying. Like everybody, like you kind of
How would you
gave up on
know?
these guys because
Yeah,
they was kind of stagnant, and now look at them. And then Nico Collins, not to be left out, 3 for 54 and a TD. I mean, they was just throwing
cooking.
that joint all over
That
the
kitchen,
place.
that kitchen was full service. Everybody was getting their meals on time. Everything was coming out perfectly well done. It was crazy.
Hey, it was definitely indeed. And for and on the other side, man, Baker Mayfield seems to has his team in a position to win all the time. He doesn't have crazy, stupid numbers, but 21 for 30, 265, and 2 TDs. That's enough like it is now to get you into, get you to be right there at the end of the game. Rashad White, 20 carries for 73 yards and 2
Yeah,
TDs. Um, he's been getting a lot of work, and
yeah,
whoever
and four
got
for
him,
46 in the air to go with it. So,
yeah, 4
yeah,
for 46 in the air. Mike Evans, 4 receptions at 84 yards. Cole Cade Otten, 6
Kate
for
Ott,
70 with 2 TDs.
2 CDs.
And man, I mean, the ball was spread around, man.
Yeah,
The
Baker's
ball was
not
spread
bad for this
around
team. He's doing pretty well. He's having a decent time down there and a little resurgence in his career, and I like that. So, I like that.
for sure.
Oh, there's a game that I skipped over. Not, I mean, it was one that you could skip over if you were watching games this week. Commanders and Patriots. Patriots. Sam Howell did pretty good today. 29 and 45 for 325, one touchdown, one pick. Kept his team in it though, to be able to come out with the win. Terry McLaurin was able to stay involved, 5 for 73. John Dotson, 4 for 69 with the touchdown. So, and Sam Howell was making some good throws. He's got a lot of lawns, 36, 33, 26. That team, he was making throws downfield. So, and keeps it competitive. He's winning on the road, which is crazy, which, that for fantasy purposes, when you start your fantasy players, you don't have to be afraid to start Commanders because Sam Howell actually performs fairly well on the road. So, Brian Robinson got a touchdown too on 63 yards. And then Ramondre Stevenson, for the first time this year, I think, was the second round pick that you were hoping for. He had 87 yards and a touchdown, and then 4 for 42 in the air. So that's what you would be hoping for from Ramondre, to see what he should be and could be, but has not been.
That's fair.
And everybody else on that team is just forget about it. Juju Smith, something Douglas. I don't even know the guy named Demario Douglas. Yep, there it is. Yeah, forget about him. Forget
That's fair.
about him.
So, man, my boy Gardner Minshew came back down to reality. 17 to 26 with 127, but they beat up a terrible 1-7 Carolina Panthers team. I don't even know who Carolina beat this year. They beat someone though. But
Just last week I thought they won, right? Or
I
2 weeks
tell you
ago.
one thing though. The Carolina Panthers are beating themselves over the head for not picking CJ Stroud. I know it was an article that came out a little bit ago that said we got the guy that we want and we believe in him. But Bryce Young has not been great, man. He threw 3 interceptions today, and 2 of them were pick sixes.
Yeah. I mean, again, this is the first year, and maybe he's not like game ready to like lead the charge, and you should, possibly be when you're drafted pretty high. But so many of the guys we're watching right now started like this and started rocky. Josh Allen started awful like this, and look at him now. So
Uh,
he
I
was
don't
he was
think that
pretty bad his first year. Um,
I
Even
don't
Peyton
think he was.
Manning, Peyton Manning was awful his first year.
Well, now you're bringing up some of these great, like the greatest
I'm
guys
not
that.
saying it's gonna be Peyton Manning, but I'm saying you can't judge it after your rookie season. So
I mean, but some of these guys have had great moments to where you're like, hey man, this guy might be something. Like he hasn't had one of those moments. He throws the ball 40 times a game, averages 150 yards a game, 175 yards a game. Throws more
I think
interceptions
he
than he
had it
does
during their
TDs.
win.
throws more interceptions than he does TDs, you know,
Oh yeah, for
and
sure. I'm not too scared about it for this season, though.
I mean,
Honestly, like,
I'm not scared. I'm just looking for him to have a some type of consistency, some type of growth.
oh yeah, they
It's
beat
been the same
Houston
thing.
last week. That's what it was. It was last week. So
Eh,
he beats Stroud.
Stroud felt bad for his boy. You know they best friends. He felt bad for his boy. It was like, let me let my man get one
yeah.
so he could stay in the league with me.
Yeah,
You know, because Stroud
exactly.
knew he was going to come back and put up 470 today. So, I mean, Bryce Young, man, 173 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, and it was just nothing, 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 nothing. I mean, nothing to write home about, man, on the offensive side. Chuba Hubbard, 16 carries, 58 yards. Adam Thielen, 5 catches, 29 yards. That was it. On the other side, Gardner Minshew, 17 to 26, 127 in the air. Jonathan Taylor, 18 carries for 47 yards. I would like to see him or Zach Moss start to be a little bit more consistent, get off a little bit more. Like 47 and 26 yards, man, that is just not good. But like I said, they had 2 pick sixes. Michael Pittman, eight receptions for 64 yards. Jonathan Taylor also caught 5 passes for 22 yards. Um, big letdown after having great weeks is Joshua Downs, 1 catch for 10 yards. Um, for those of us who had picked Jonathan Taylor late in the year or late in the draft to try to get our little sneaky draft pick, then he's definitely haven't been Alvin Kamara. And that's what I thought when I drafted him. And sheesh, boy, was I wrong.
Hmm.
He's been all right though. He's been okay, but I
Yeah.
thought that he was gonna be an Alpha Kamara esque.
Yeah, but not quite there. Not quite there. And I don't know if that's because he's just trying to give a minimum effort just to get through the 8 games he needs to, or part of. Well, again, he doesn't need that anymore. I keep saying that, but like I don't know where the lack of effort kind of comes. He got his deal, he got his thing. I don't know if it's just that they're bad or if he's just not putting in the effort or what, but I don't know anymore. It's confusing. Like he got the deal, he got everything, but still seems like they're just nothing there from the run game. So also, you know, let's talk about nothing there. Talk about how the Giants got nothing there. Oh my goodness. That
Trash,
game was
man.
terrible. Absolutely awful. Raiders came in and stomped them in town, and they got 6 points, but I mean, what does that really mean? You know? What does that really
Nothing in the
mean?
grand scheme of things,
You know,
right?
nothing in the grand scheme of things. Um, the whatever O'Connell, Aaron or Alex or Aiden, sure, did not turn the ball over, had no touchdowns, but there's not a lot to go hang your head on from the passing game for Oakland. They won on the ground. They won the back of Josh Jacobs with 2 scores. They won. Jacoby Myers got a score on the ground too on some trick play, but Josh Jacobs had 98 yards and 2 touchdowns. So that was a good deal. Good to see him getting volume. Good to see them still able to move the ball and get into scoring position to make him relevant for fantasy. So that's nice to see. But that's all they have on the Raiders if they're going to be starting this guy. And I don't know what happened to Jimmy G. I can't remember if he's hurt or how he's hurt or whatever's going on there. And then DeVito, oh gosh, ah, oh man, what a nightmare this situation is. Having him start and everything like that. That's just. I think Daniel Jones got
Daniel
injured.
Jones started. He just got hurt.
Yeah, and it's funny because he came in off of injury too. So I don't know if he re-aggravated something, but you can't really start anybody in this offense. It sucks because like Saquon Barkley is going to get the work. He had 90 yards a day on 16 attempts, but what's the quality of that? You know, is he ever going to get close to finding the end zone? Because 90 yards is great, but what does that really do for you in the long run? So he also had 3 for 23, so 113 total yards, which is nice to see as a total, but I don't know if that's going to be reliable given the state of the team.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm drowning in that Devontae Adams pick, man. I at this moment I just gotta bench him, man. I mean,
Yep.
He's not doing much for me. I didn't have anybody else on my bench be able to do much of anything in itself, but Devontae Adams, man, is killing me. And I mean that in the best way possible because I love Devontae Adams.
For sure.
It's more so than any other team sport. You need the other guys in football, and the quarterback is a big guy that you need. And their quarterbacks have failed me all year, and I've failed now 3 games in a row. So
Yikes.
tears, man, tears. But I tell
Fair.
you what, man, for fantasy purposes only, this dude Dak Prescott ain't failed nobody. 375, 3 TDs, 374 to be exact, but 29 of 44. He was letting that thing rip. No interceptions. Big game versus the Eagles. And he delivered on his behalf, man. A lot of people always give Dak a lot of criticism, just like Kirk Cousins on, oh, they don't deliver in big games. He delivered today, and I don't
Yeah.
think it was him. I think it was more so of everyone else because he delivered. And who did he deliver to? CeeDee Lamb, 11 for 191. This dude, CeeDee Lamb, has been on a tear. I
Yes.
mean, a tear. Dude had almost 200 yards in one game. Uh, it just it's crazy. Tony Pollard, 12 for 51.
Hmm.
I don't know, man. He
It's exactly
caught
what we
he
talked about.
caught
Tony
three
Pollard was
passes.
not worth the first round pick.
Yeah. I think they should have kept Zeke. That's me. I think they should have kept Zeke. But I mean, Dak definitely spread it around after CD. Jake Ferguson, 7 for
I think the
91.
only reason they probably didn't is because at the time they probably would have had to pay out more for Zeke's contract versus just getting rid of him and maybe losing some of that contract. You know, like, yeah.
Yeah, well, they should have kept him. Um, Dak threw it all around the field, but the biggest notables from here is CD Lamb with 191 yards and Dak Prescott with 3 touchdowns and 374 in the air. Jalen Hurts on the other side, he was just decent. They spread the ball around, they ran it a lot. Had 4 different guys run the ball. Um, Jalen Hurts was 17 for 23, 207, and 2 TDs. Um, they kept AJ Brown in check, which was, you know,
Yeah.
a sight to see because he's been on a tear as well. Um, but I was surprised. I was surprised at that, and especially keeping AJ Brown in check and then not turning the ball over. I thought that the Dallas Cowboys would have had a better chance if you would have told me that. But AJ Brown was 7 for 66 and a touchdown. Devontae Smith was 3 for 51 and a touchdown. Um, I don't know how Jalen Hurts seems to have getting this done in these big games, but he hasn't been like a wow MVP type guy like he was last year. He's not throwing it all over the place. He's not having
Yeah,
crazy
he's a
numbers.
more elevated version of Lamar because he's still throwing for low yard totals, right? But he's at least getting the touchdowns in the air, right? So,
Yeah.
like, if Lamar was getting touchdowns, like this would be take those 2 passing or rushing touchdowns from Gus and Plymouth's passing. You talk about it a little bit different, you know.
Yep.
So it's kind of interesting, but they get wins, so they figure it out. You know, even cutting it close against Washington the week before and Cowboys now. It's crazy that they cut it close, but they figure it out and they come out with the dub. So,
That
question
defense
for you,
steps
man:
up when it needs to.
who who are you looking at as big winners for the week? Who are the guys that's like, yeah, you are who we thought you were, or all right, man, I might be looking at you maybe if you're available or for trade.
CD Lamb. CD Lamb, dude. He balled
He's been the
out. I
guy.
mean, this dude just he's continued to grow. Like I'm not a big Cowboys fan, and sometimes that kind of kills me because I had a chance to draft him in the second round, but
Yeah.
because I'm a Tay Adams fan, I drafted Tay instead of CD Lamb. And CD Lamb is out here. He is just a monster. he is, man. What he's been doing over these last 3 weeks, man, is crazy. And I'm sure he's single-handedly lifting his team above others. Like he's single-handedly lifting his team above others. Another guy that I would say is TJ Hawkinson, man. With Josh Dobbs in on like a short week, still being able to go out and grab 7 catches and 69 yards. He was also targeted 12 times,
Hmm.
but he made some big catches and came up with some stuff for his team to be able to pull out a win. I like to see that. Um, one that still remains to be seen is Amari Cooper. He's been kind of up and down this year. Been kind of riding this wave.
Yep.
Deshaun Watson's there. He plays great. When Deshaun Watson's not there, he doesn't. But Deshaun Watson doesn't also play all the way great. It just seems
Yeah.
like he just knows how to throw the ball to Amari Cooper. So
Yep.
those
That's
are a
really
few
right.
right there.
Yeah. For me, it's your boy AJ Brown. Those are the guys. It's like, he might not have 100 yards this week, but he still had 66 and a touchdown. Like, they still find a way to get him involved. He still has 7 receptions. So in the PPR league, he still got almost 20 points out of him. So it was a pretty good week for him. And then the Houston offense. I don't know how, mostly CJ Stroud, but did have a down game, but for most of the season, he has been very, very consistent. And he's had a couple roller coaster moments, but a couple for a rookie, and to be able to sustain multiple receivers in a game, getting the tight end involved for 100 plus, getting Tank Dell involved for 100 plus, like that's crazy to me, that he has that ability. So I think the winners are, and it will be a little bit of a rotation, I think, more than this week, but are the Houston Texans receivers, because that's crazy to me.
I'll tell you somebody to keep an eye out for is Will Levis. Will Levis is someone to keep an eye out for. I mean, he's had 2 pretty solid back-to-back weeks. Um, I think that Ryan Tannehill's days are numbered out there in
Yeah.
Tennessee. And I feel great about the Will Levis. On the downside of it all, there was a lot of bad football being played this week, honestly. A lot of bad football being played this week. Um, I'm a fantasy owner of Devontae Adams, guys, and I think that it's time to sit him on the bench, trade him for a pack of bubble gum if you can. I
Yeah.
don't think that there's gonna be much coming out of here. He's getting the targets. He's just the targets are just not there for him to catch it, right? Like it's crazy that they call, an overthrow or underthrow a
Yeah.
target. I mean, it is a target. They threw it to you. Just because wasn't there for you to catch it, that mean that it wasn't a target. So I would say I think it's time to move on from Devontae Adams. We've seen enough. He's cost me a couple. I think it's time to move on from. I think it's time to move on from Kenny Pickett, man.
Oh yeah.
He's they're winning in spite of him, not because of him.
Hmm.
Um, so what that means as well is that Deontay Johnson and Kenny George Pickens, on the other hand, um, I think you might want to sit those guys.
Fair.
Although Deontay Johnson had a pretty decent week this week, but I don't think that it's going to continue, especially as they start going through this gauntlet of the what is it, the AFC West or the
Yep.
AFC, whatever the AFC they're in. Once they start going through the Browns, the Bengals, then they got the Patriots, they got the Bengals
Yeah, the
again, they
AFC
got the
North.
Ravens again. I mean, like it's just not gonna be a good sight for these guys when they got those guys coming at them. So I think it's time to move on from some of that. I'm just not a big fan of the Steelers offense right now. But I tell you one thing, Najee's been playing better. Najee has been playing better, and I'm gonna leave it at that. That's it for me,
Yeah.
folks. If he got anything to say, he can have at it.
No,
Najee's
I'm
been
good,
playing
man.
better.
That's it for me. Appreciate y'all, man. This has been a great time, good episode. We'll check you guys on the next one.
Peace.
We out.